So the last one was the pride of life. I talked about this, one of the biggest things. And the obsession with status, success, and self-glory. It's the belief that I've got this without God. We were made in the image of God, but we are not gods. And with that being said, there is only one God. And I believe he's brought me on here to say what I'm here saying. For those who are being abusive in the chat, you'll get yours. You'll get it. It'll happen. I pray for you, though. And I pray that God has mercy on you. But I trust God. And I believe he's given me a message and he's given me passion about this message. Because this needs to be said. I wish it was a man who's saying this. I wish it was somebody else, not me, because I'm a woman. I don't know how effective it is for a woman to tell you guys about this. I don't know if this helps you, but I'm trusting God that whoever it reaches, it reaches. But the pride of life. The idea that you've got it on your own, that you don't need anybody's help. That you don't need God. You are God. God is a really good way of knocking people down. Because he's a just God. And he's a powerful God. He's all powerful. Those who say the worst things exalt themselves the most. You will meet your maker. That's a guarantee. You can look at stories online if you want to. People that have passed away for 10, 20 minutes, an hour. And they'll tell you, you meet your maker. You will. And we don't know when that day is. We live like we're going to live forever. But the reality is we all have an expiration date. All of us. And you can live with the way you want to live. But we all have a time. Single men are not happier. That's actually not a statistical fact. I wish I knew the other word. There's another word that when I was in school, I'm trying to think of the word, man. I cannot think of it to save my life. There's different types of studies. And some people only use like, oh, they experienced something or their homeboy experienced it or their homegirl experienced it. Like, let's say a woman is around a man and he cheats on her. Well, all men are cheaters. All men are cheaters. No, you just got cheated on. All men are dogs. They ain't good for nothing. No, the men you dealt with are dogs and good for nothing. You can't say that everybody's like that just because you had a bad experience. That would be inaccurate. And statistically speaking, it's not evidence-based. Anecdotal. Thank you, lunchtime. Anecdotal. Thank you so much. That was driving me crazy. It's called anecdotal research, where you take a story that you have encountered and then you make it everybody. It's not everybody, it's your experience. So, single men are not happier. That is not a statistical fact. And you out here promoting it, you reap what you sow, my brother. You will reap what you sow. So, anecdotal evidence where you've had a bad experience. You say everybody's like this. All women are like this. All men are like this. Oh, it's always like that. Or relationships are like that. We've had bad experiences. I have had bad experiences. I have had bad experiences, family. Bad experiences. I've had terrible experiences. But I'm still on here talking to men. I've been assaulted by men. I've been abused by men. I have experienced a lot by the hands of men. But I'm still here talking to men. Why? Because not all men are like that. I know that. I know that I've had bad experiences and I can separate a bad experience from every man being bad. Because that's not true. It's just not fair. It's not true. I've been cheated on, lied to. I've gone through the ringer. But I know that those, first of all, those were hurt people. Because anybody that, rapes women or anything, hurt people, obviously. Or put their hands on women, whatever. They're hurt people. That doesn't mean that every man is like that. And I know that. That's why I'm here. Otherwise, I'd just be talking to women and perpetuating this narrative that all men are bad and all men are evil. That's not true. I know that not to be true. Pride is a performance-based identity. It's where your worth is defined by your image, income, titles, or applause. Meaning that the way you see yourself is based upon what you've accomplished. Not who you are, not how God sees you, but what you've been able to do for you. The modern examples of this is chasing validation, refusing correction, needing to be right, hiding weakness, not seeking help or accountability, and measuring manhood by money or women. That is pride. That's the pride of life. We're measuring ourselves by what we've been able to do. And it's a broken cistern. I can't hold water. Pride is the most dangerous sin in the Bible. There's over 100 verses, roughly 100 verses that address the sin of pride. It is the one sin that got the enemy kicked out of heaven because of pride. He wanted God's position. He wanted to be God. And because of that, he ganged up a bunch of angels to try to go against God or to create his own kingdom within a kingdom. And God kicked him out. It was the sin of pride. And so when unfortunately, men have been taught to move in pride. I've seen it. Like I said, I'm the only sister. I have two brothers. I was raised with my male cousins. I'm the only female. I've seen how is that man up, pride. You've been taught that. And that's dangerous. Because then every man is going to have a point where he needs help. Every man in their life is going to need a helpmate. Every man is going to have a moment where he's not the strongest individual in the room. And he's going to need a space to be able to do that. And if he's unwilling because he's been taught these disastrous ways of suppressing your emotions and going at it anyway, you're going to struggle. Again, that's why the rates are the way that they are, where men are going to escapism like video games, because video games can be an addiction too. Corn addiction, sex addiction, drugs addiction, substance abuse. Like I've seen so many men that they have so much, but they're running into addictions, and I know why. They can't be weak. They have to keep going. They have to keep. So they find a way to escape it somehow, some way. And they find dopamine. Because let me tell you, video games is like a dopamine hit. Every level, every time you conquer a new level, every time you connect to you get the code, get to the next level. Whew, I got that. Next level. And it's not a bad thing. Men are productive. They're conquerors. That's how you were created. That's part of your magic. But it's it. If that's where you're getting your fulfillment from, it's an empty cistern. Somebody said men are taught that we have to earn our value. I agree with that, Dave. I agree. So pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16:18. Better to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. Proverbs 16:19. The enemy himself was cast out of heaven because of pride. When you walk in pride, certain things you do is that you stop listening. You isolate, super defensive. You overestimate your strength. You delay healing and your growth. You push people away who love you. You become unteachable, uncoachable, and you eventually will fall, and often alone. met a lot of men. My mom isn't, she works with people in the end of their lives. And there'll be a lot of men that might have had amassed a lot of wealth, but they're calling her in at the end of their life to hold their hand as they take their last breaths on earth. Because the choices that they made when they had choices were to isolate, get caught up in what they have, and not realize that one day it won't matter. So she would go in, and a lot of times it's men. A lot of times it's men. At the end of their life, they're alone. Men that made it about money, cars, and clothes, success on this hamster wheel. And the sad part about it, y'all, is we don't know our expiration date. None of us do. That's why it's important to make certain choices today for legacy, commitment, because our society needs it. All this casual stuff is actually destroying our culture. I believe that. Being non-committal, lacking discipline, that's a detriment to our society. Men lacking the ability to have dominion over themselves. And like I said, next week I'm coming for women too. Us teaching this dangerous rhetoric that we shouldn't have control, we shouldn't be committed, we should just run around, be all in everybody's face, not really commit, not really be vulnerable, just pass it along. We're feeding each other's narrative. We're feeding this cycle. Well, men are doing this, and well, women are doing that. Well, men are doing this, and we're just feeding off of each other, and we're complaining about the same problem. There's not many men that I don't meet in coaching sessions that are talking about how terrible the dating pool is, and then there's women that I'm meeting, and then maybe men with money, men with access. Men are like, oh, well, I can't trust nobody. I can't be vulnerable. I don't know what they're really here for. It's like this both sides feeling like they can't trust the other party. Both sides feeling like I've got to have this superficial relationship because I'm afraid to be vulnerable. Both sides are moving in fear. Both sides are eliminating themselves. Both sides are lonely. And even if you become rich, if it's about being rich, you'll still be empty. I guarantee you that. I know a lot of rich men. Only a few of them are fulfilled. Only a few. Because the rich are just trying to get richer. It's a hamster wheel that you don't get off of. For every person that's on this live, whether you're saying negative things or lustful things or whatever the case may be, I do pray that this message reaches you. And now that you hear it, you're responsible. Whether you said negative things or positive things, you reap what you sow in this life. That's law.